It's 2024 and I've spent well over the past 6 months using Amazon Music and Spotify. And the question I really wanted to dive into with this video is why you would choose Amazon Music over Spotify when Spotify is so dominant. Well, it turns out there are actually a few reasons why you would go with Amazon Music. And let's take a look at its advantages first. Coming in at Amazon's number 4 advantage is exclusive live performances. Amazon has so few of these right now, however, it's barely worth mentioning, but if one of your favorite artists has a performance, yeah, it could be something that could sway you over to Amazon Music. Coming in at Amazon Music's number 3 advantage is the ability to purchase music via Amazon and import it into Amazon Music. Amazon Music allows you to purchase music tracks from the secondary menu that pops up next to a song. The music you purchase should automatically show up in Amazon Music. However, if it doesn't, you can download the tracks you purchased and import them into Amazon Music for local playback, but Amazon Music doesn't have a cloud library feature like YouTube Music or Apple Music. Coming in at Amazon Music's number 2 advantage is their new AI Maestro feature. This feature is in beta at the time of recording and allows you to use an AI prompt to generate a customized playlist. You can use words or emojis in your prompt, and in my limited testing, it's worked quite well. Alright, and the number 1 and probably main reason you'd go with Amazon Music over Spotify is Amazon Music supports spatial audio music as well as high-res lossless music, importantly, at no additional cost. Spotify announced they'd be bringing high-quality music streaming to their service in February of 2021. And as of this recording, has yet to release that feature or support for the Dolby Atmos music format. Now, why are these two formats such a big deal? First, let's look at lossless audio. Amazon Music Unlimited has more than 100 million songs available in HD lossless audio. HD songs start with 16-bit 44.1 kHz, and then Amazon has what they call Ultra HD, which is 24-bit with a sample rate of up to 192 kHz. But you'll need a digital to audio converter device, otherwise known as a DAC, to experience that version. What does all of this mean to the average listener? Well, the music quality on Amazon Music is better than Spotify's. Though there is a debate over at what point people can really tell a difference between lossy audio, which means it's compressed, and lossless. And keep in mind, if you use headphones with Amazon Music, most Bluetooth headphones today cannot actually play lossless audio. Some of them can over certain codecs, but most of the time, they're going to default back to lossy when over a Bluetooth connection. Now, by far, the more important audio format that Amazon Music has that Spotify doesn't is Dolby Atmos, as well as 360 reality audio, which is similar to Dolby Atmos. They're both spatial audio music formats. Dolby Atmos is just the more popular one. Unlike the stereo format where you have a right and left channel, Dolby Atmos is an object-based audio format which allows sound mixers to digitally place different parts of a music track around a virtual room. This causes you as a listener to notice things like vocal effects or instrumentation more in an Atmos mix than you necessarily would in a stereo mix. And you'll also find that Atmos tracks don't sound as loud. That's because Dolby requires Atmos mixes to be at -18 LKFS, which is why they'll sound about 10 decibels quieter than their stereo counterparts. This causes Atmos tracks to often have more headroom as well as a greater dynamic range, meaning there's a greater difference between the loudest part of the track and the quietest part of the track with an Atmos mix. Typically, stereo mixes nowadays are mixed to sound as loud as possible. Not all Atmos mixes sound good, though. Early versions of Atmos music have a tendency to drown out vocals with instrumentation, but more recent mixes are quite good. Do note, though, not all Amazon Music devices will play Atmos. For example, the Amazon Music app on Mac doesn't play the Atmos format, though their phone app does when you're listening to headphones, as well as certain speakers also don't support the Atmos format right now. Though my Sonos Era 300 does, which is a speaker I've reviewed that was built for spatial audio. So those are Amazon Music's advantages, but what about Spotify's? Before we get to that, if you're thinking about switching to Spotify or Amazon Music, doing that manually can be a real pain, but thankfully, there are solutions out there that can help with this. Like the one I used to keep my playlist in sync for this video from Tune My Music, which happens to be this video's sponsor. With its powerful transfer tool, Tune My Music lets you seamlessly transfer your music between services. It works across all of the major music platforms, including Spotify and Amazon Music. You can easily move playlists, albums, and your entire music library between services. Tune My Music's matching technology finds songs across platforms, so nothing gets left behind. I was able to move more than 2,000 songs from one service to another with minimal no matches found. It saved me a ton of time from manually having to recreate playlists when I'm switching between services. But Tune My Music doesn't stop there. You can also set it to sync new playlist additions automatically. So if you subscribe to multiple services, it'll keep your playlists up to date across them. Tune My Music also has a nifty sharing feature that allows you to share playlists with friends. When they click on the playlist, they can add it to their music library regardless of what music service they use. With its rock-solid transfer and syncing capabilities, plus its nifty sharing features, Tune My Music is the ultimate music companion for those looking to switch or share their music. So what are you waiting for? You can start using Tune My Music for free today by using the link in the description below, and thanks to Tune My Music for sponsoring this video. Alright, now let's talk about Spotify. Spotify's number 6 advantage is playlists. It has a larger number of customized playlists compared to Amazon Music, which does have some, but Spotify has way more with playlists like the Time Capsule Mix, which will take you back to your teenage years. It has different artists, decade, genre, and mood mixes, all created based on your taste profile. And the Repeat Rewind playlist, which is a playlist of your favorite music that you were listening to in the past. You can also use Spotify's Blend feature to create customized playlists based on you and a friend or spouse, and Spotify gives you the ability to exclude certain content from your taste profile, like a playlist your kids want to listen to, but you do not want to impact your recommendations. The number 5 advantage for Spotify is a simplified like system. With Amazon Music, liking a song or album won't automatically add it to your library. That's a separate action. On Spotify, hitting the plus button does both of those actions. Moving on, Spotify's Jam Session feature comes in at its number 4 advantage. This feature allows your friends and family to add songs to your Spotify queue in real time, and they don't have to be paying members of Spotify Premium to use it. Amazon Music doesn't have anything like that, or even collaborative playlists. Moving on, the number 3 advantage for Spotify is its AI DJ feature.
Up now, I've pulled together a few artists you've been listening to. Maybe one or two you haven't heard, all with kind of a similar vibe.
It's great for those times when you want to listen to something but aren't really sure what to listen to. The DJ will typically start with something you've been listening to recently, then reach back into your listening history and introduce you to new stuff along the way. Alright, Spotify's number 2 advantage is actually network effects. According to Statistica, it still dominates the industry with a 30% share globally, more than double Amazon Music's 11.1% share. Why does this matter? Well, because it's more likely your friends and family are using Spotify, it'll potentially be easier to share music with them, have shared playlists, and start jam sessions. Alright, and coming in at Spotify's number 1 advantage is Spotify Connect. This feature allows you to stream your Spotify music to any device that integrates with Spotify. And not only that, it lets you control whatever music you have playing on a device. For example, if I'm playing Spotify through my Sonos speakers, I can open up the Spotify app on my MacBook Air and control what's playing in real time. Amazon Music's app does support a wide variety of casting like Spotify's, including Google's Chromecast, plus Amazon's own casting technology as well as Apple's AirPlay. But it can't pick up from where you left off on any device. So those are the advantages of Spotify and Amazon Music, but which one do I think you should go with? Both services have free tiers and podcasts, plus Spotify has audiobooks integrated in. Both have pretty good recommendation algorithms, though I'd still give the edge to Spotify. Also, Spotify's app is a bit more responsive than Amazon Music's in my experience. I've run into bugs with both liking songs as well as a lag when adding something to my library. Unless you want higher quality music or spatial audio music or the ability to purchase music within the same ecosystem as your music service, I think Spotify is going to be the better choice between the two. And it's the one I'd choose because it's supported on more devices, has better customized playlists, better sharing features, and Spotify Connect. And if you want to learn more about Spotify and Amazon Music, I've left a link to our blog post for this comparison, which includes the sources I used to help create this video. And if you want to see how Spotify and Amazon Music compare to other music streaming services, you can get to my other comparison videos by clicking the playlist here, and you can click here to get to my reviews and comparisons of all the devices you can use with these services, like the Sonos Era 300 I mentioned earlier. If you liked this video, you found it helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.